Okay, good morning everyone, and Hazak, Baruch, thank you for joining us on this beautiful Friday morning, Erev Shabbat Kodesh. Our parasha, as we have a double header this week, Aharemot and Kedoshim, has a very important pasuk. We even quoted the pasuk in yesterday's class, and today I want to address it from another angle. Yesterday we spoke about this pasuk. The pasuk is found in Parashat Kedoshim. The pasuk says, Lo tisna et achicha bilvavecha. You shall not hate somebody in your heart. One is not allowed to have hatred. You're not allowed to hold it in. Hocheach tochiach et amitecha. What that means is that you need to rebuke somebody. Rebuking somebody, you have a hatred for a reason. You know, people sometimes get upset at people. And a lot of times, the reason they're upset is warranted. A lot of times it's unwarranted. A lot of times the person that's getting upset at knows, a lot of times they don't know. I was at a venue the other night and a person came over to me. I said hi, and the person's like, oh, now you know me. Yeah, now you say hi. So right away I realized the person was upset at me. And, we got into a conversation. And I said at the end, I'm very happy I bumped into you tonight because I had no idea that you were upset at me. And he said, I'm very happy we spoke because now I got to hear what really was going on. A lot of times we get upset at somebody and we assume, we play out the scenario in our head, we fill in the blanks, and then we hate the guy because we came to a conclusion. It's very interesting because the pasuk right before this, Lo telech rachil be'amecha. You're not supposed to gossip about people. And it's the same reason. Because gossiping why are you gossiping? Because you think he's a bad guy? You jump into conclusions. Do you really know him? Do you know the whole story? Do you know why he said that? Why she did that? You don't know everything. And so the pasuk is saying, Lo tisna, don't hate people. Rather, hocheyach tochiyach. What does that mean? It means simply rebuke the guy. But what it really means is go over to the guy and have a conversation. Be confrontational. Ask. Be curious. Wonder. Why'd you do that? Why'd you say that? And then you'll be shocked. The person will show you why. First of all, that's not what happened, right? Let me tell you what really happened. But have the conversation. Sometimes we're so afraid to be confrontational. We don't want to be viewed as babies. And so what do? We just let it go. We brush it away. I don't want to confront them. Okay, you don't want to confront them, but you're holding it in your heart. If you can't let it go from the heart, then you have to go over to the person. But the pasuk then continues and says, Hocheyach tochiach et amitecha. There is a mitzvah to help people in life grow. To criticize, to rebuke, to give feedback. We're here in this world to grow. And nobody is perfect. And if you think you're perfect, then that's the first mistake. But nobody is perfect. We come into this world with baggage, with midot, bad midot. And life, we spend a whole lifetime to try to improve, to work on our character, on our anger, on our laziness, on our addictions, on our temptations, on our arrogance. Many, many ways we need to grow, my friends. And everybody has to grow. And you never stop growing, by the way. You never get to an age, just FYI, that you can say, oh yeah, I did that one. Growing is not like finishing a book. I finished. Oh yeah. I used to be angry. I'm not angry anymore. Oh yeah, I used to be arrogant. Thank God I'm not that anymore. We never graduate really from growing. We're always growing. This is the world of growing. This is what we're here to do. And we're meant to not only grow, but we're also meant to help other people grow. There's a mitzvah, hocheyach tochiach et amitecha. That if you see somebody falling, you got to rebuke them. Help them improve. And that is something that we're familiar with in our history. All of our prophets, they constantly rebuked. Moshe Rabbeinu rebuked us. And that is really a person that loves you, by the way. I want you to realize this. A person that really loves you will help you grow. Right? If you saw a friend and she had black in her teeth over here, you'd be so embarrassed. You'd say, hello, come quickly. Go remove, you have something in your teeth. Right? That's what you would say. Because you love her. If you have something in your teeth and your friend didn't tell you, you have to really question, why did they tell you? You should really wonder, do they really love me? Are they really a friend? A real friend would tell you, would warn you. Why don't you tell me that I got something? We grow in life by being told where we're imperfect, where we need to improve. David HaMelech writes in Tehillim, Bakamim alai mere'im tishma'na oznai. King David over here is talking about all of his enemies, his haters. And when they would get up and say something to embarrass him, to insult him, to point out his flaws, David says, you know what I did? Tishma'na oznai. I would open my ears. Today, if you imagine you see two people arguing, they don't like each other. One says to the other, oh yeah? You know, I'm going to tell you something about you. You're a piece of work, you know that? So what does the other guy do? Right? David HaMelech, you know what he would say? Hit me. Loud, I'm all ears, baby. Give me loud and clear. David HaMelech wanted to hear every ounce of criticism because he knew this is only helping me. Feedback. Someone calls you and says, you know, I just want to say, you're doing X, Y, and Z wrong. It hurts. And our instinct, our blink, our initial reaction is to defend and reject and explain. But if we're wise, Shlomo HaMelech says in Mishlei, Hocheach lechacham ve'yehaveka. A chacham loves feedback. If you want to know if your friends are smart or foolish, just see how they respond to criticism. A foolish person always has an excuse. Always. No matter what they're told. No, but that's different. No, don't bring that. That's not the same. A chacham shuts their mouth and opens their ears. It says, wow. You know, thank you. Okay, let me think about it. I appreciate the feedback. This person is giving you gold, information. You should kiss them, pay them. This is what people pay, by the way. People pay companies to come in and criticize their office. Are they maximizing their employees, their space, their resources? So someone's coming and giving you free feedback. You should kiss them on the head. Mwah! Abus rohak. Hashem should bless you. Thank you for telling me what my flaws are. Because I really should pay you to tell me what my flaws are. I don't know what they are. Hard to see. I want everyone to do me a favor right now. I want you to not look at your phone for a second. Look at a blank wall. And I want you to see, do you have anything on your forehead? Is your hair neat or is it all unneat? You can't tell. How come you can't tell? I can't see myself. In life, you cannot see your own flaws. It's the reality. We don't see our own flaws. It takes sometimes real musar, introspection, to be able to get to a level where we can see our own flaws. It takes a lot of work. It's not an easy thing to do. Really, we're able to do it, but it takes a lot of meditation And really it takes us being able to leave our body and see ourselves from a third eye, so that you can look at yourself from outside yourself. That's really how it works. But we don't see our own flaws. So if someone's coming and giving you feedback, saying you stink, your speeches are too long, you're not on the dates, you're very dry, you're very this, you're very that. Thank you so much. This is gold. I would not have known otherwise. Now I know what I could do better. Merci beaucoup. Como ça va? Muchas gracias. Take out your checkbook. How much do I owe you for that feedback? This is really a chacham, how they would respond to feedback. Not easy thing to do. Because again, we take feedback as if a knock at our ego, at ourself, at our me. I'm no good. What do you say? I'm no good. What do you say? What are you trying to say? I'm not good. Right? We get very personal. First thing you have to know about criticism. I saw a nice thing one time. Okay? You have to use a Q-tip. Anyone ever heard of this? What's a Q-tip? What does a Q-tip mean? So first of all, you have to clean your ears. Let the information enter. Secondly, you got to leave the Q-tip in, because the words have to come in one ear and not out the other. They have to stay inside. So when you receive feedback, put a Q-tip. Block it from going out the other ear. And thirdly, Q-tip stands for quit taking it personally. Like that one? How you doing? 101 to the shul. Okay, quit taking it personally. Stop taking it personally. This person's giving you golden information. Now, obviously, not every bozo's criticism should you welcome. And this is where it gets tricky. Sometimes the guy's not qualified to be giving you criticism. To give you criticism, first of all, the guy has to be credible. If he's not credible, maybe he's wrong. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The guy has to be familiar. He has to know you. If he's not familiar, it may not apply to you. He has to care. If he doesn't care, then maybe he's not trying to help. Maybe he's just trying to ruin you, right? So you got to care, be credible, and be familiar. But if the person is all the three, and this is where, again, the defense mechanisms come up and we say, oh, they're not familiar. Oh, they don't care. Oh, they're not credible. A chacham opens the ears. And in the other ear, he puts a Q-tip. That's what a chacham does. Welcomes the criticism. Because that's how we grow. And ultimately, we grow most by getting the feedback. Don't be upset at your wife or your husband if they're telling you things you're doing wrong. Say thank you very much. You know, you're always on your phone. Excuse me? I'm on my phone. You're on your phone. Right? Now you're not opening your ears. Now you're just opening your mouth. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's how you see. Okay, thank you. That's what the kids said about me. Okay. That's so important for me to know. That's very good for me to know. That's feedback. That's gold. That's information. How much do I owe you? I want to hear. Is it connected? Again, now a person can't work on everything, and you can't take so much feedback at the same time. Can't download it all. And there is a little knock at the ego. So we have to, again, proceed with caution. But at least something we got to fix. We got to hear. Honey, tell me, what could I do better? Rabbi, tell me, what could I do better? Once in a while. Once in a while. Religion is not there just to tranquilize us. Religion is not there as a therapy. Religion is not there just to always, whatever we feel and whatever we're doing, is it's okay. Because then we just end up using it to massage and soothe our own status quo. If the rabbi says something that bothers you in a speech, good. Good. Because if your rabbi never said anything that bothered you, then the rabbi's not doing his job. That's what Rabbi Yes says in the Gemara, by the way. If a rabbi is loved by everyone, it's because he's not doing a good job. Because if you're a real rabbi, then you criticize. And if you criticize, people don't like it. And if people don't like it, then they don't like you. And if not everyone likes you, that means that you're doing a good job at criticizing. Now again, how to criticize. This is a whole nother class. This is a whole nother speech. I saw an amazing line one time. A good friend will criticize you to your face and defend you behind your back. A bad friend will do the opposite. Got that? Should I say it again? I'll say it again. A good friend will criticize you to your face and defend you behind your back. A good friend, to your face, they'll say what you're doing wrong. And when they're behind your back and people are talking about you, they'll defend you, they'll fight for you. A bad friend, the exact opposite. A bad friend, behind your back, they're criticizing you. That guy, he's a no good, he's a this. And then to your face, oh, you're the best, I love you, I love you, I love you. Be very careful from those friends. Those are not real friends. You have to be able to criticize respectfully, but to criticize, to be critical. Home. A house has to have tochacha. Ezer kenegdo. The wife and the husband, they're there to be an ezer kenegdo. Now again, very complicated because how and how much. At a certain point, if your spouse is not interested in hearing it, then you have to leave them alone. If a guy in the shul is not interested in hearing it, you have to leave him alone. But at least we have to try. At least we have to show we care. At least we have to try a little bit. Tochacha is a very hard mitzvah to do properly, to administer. Pasuk says very clearly, Lo tisnat ahecha bilvavecha. A prerequisite is that it can't come from hatred. It can't come from anger. It can't come because you have bad midot. It can't come because you're upset at your own life and at your own self and you're just trying to make yourself feel better. It can't come for any of those reasons. Tochacha has to come only from the most purest place of love. It's got to be 100% altruistic. And if it's not real criticism, and don't even bother giving it because it's not going to be well received. And you ain't going to change the guy and he's not going to listen and he's only going to lead to more fighting. Tochacha is a very hard thing to do properly. You know, there's a famous Gemara. Gemara compares two kings, David HaMelech and Shaul HaMelech. Shaul was the first king, David was the second king. And it says that Shaul lost the kingship because of a sin that he did, one sin that he did. And David didn't lose the kingship even though he did two bad sins. Shaul lost the kingship because when he was rebuked by the prophet, he didn't man up. David was rebuked and he owned it. He admitted. He said, I'm sorry. Like we say on Yom Kippur, Umodeh ve'ozev yeruham. If you admit and you let go, you're forgiven. Mechaseh pesha'av lo yasliyah. You cover it up, ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work on Saturday. Ain't gonna work on Saturday. Right? Okay. It ain't gonna work. Don't try to cover it up. Not with Hashem at least. Umodeh ve'ozev yeruham. So David admitted. God says, okay, I forgive you. We're good. We're Gucci. We're good. We're G. Shaul didn't admit. He tried defending. God says you're out. And there's a very, most time we focus on David and Shaul. David admitted, Shaul didn't. Shame on David. Shame on Shaul. Good for David. Shaul lost it. David kept it. But there is, I think maybe a deeper element that we can also learn from in the story. because the stories are very similar, not in the sin, but in the afterwards, in the rebuke. In both stories, the king sinned, and in both stories, God sends a prophet to rebuke the king. Who rebukes Shaul? Which prophet rebuked Shaul? A prophet by the name of Shmuel and Natan. And who rebuked David? Which prophet? A prophet by the name of Natan, Hanavi. And what's very, very good, yes, Natan, correct. And what's very good, what's very interesting, is that if you compare, how did Shmuel give the rebuke and how did Natan give the rebuke? You see, Shmuel came to Shaul and he said, Shaul, what's all this sheep that I heard? I hear all this sheep in the background. I thought God told you to kill all the sheep. What's all the sheep that I hear? You know? And Shaul's tries again defending himself, justifying, explaining. The people wanted it. We said we're going to kill it on a korban. Whatever the excuse was. But he's giving excuses. And he lost the malchut, he lost the kingship. What's fascinating is that Natan Hanavi, the way he rebukes is very different. Natan Hanavi comes and he says to David, what was the story over there? David, what was his sin? David had many wives, and then one day he saw a lady bathing, and he was interested, so he called her over, and he did what he did. And then he found out that she was married, but she really wasn't married, because technically she was divorced. And then she was pregnant, and then he called the husband over to go back home, but the husband said, I'm not going home, I'm fighting, I'm in the war, I can't go home. And then David sent him into the front lines, and that's where he died. And again, it's a very complicated story, it sounds very bad. Gemara says it's not as bad as you think, but it's still bad, it's still a sin. It's not as bad as you think. The tzaddikim, their sins are magnified. But either way, it's a sin. Because God says he sinned, and he sends the prophet to go rebuke him. So he goes and he comes to David and he says, David, I have a question for you. He doesn't rebuke him right away. He gives him what we call a straw man. Anyone ever heard of a straw man? A straw man is where you highlight a third party as an example of what someone did wrong, and then you apply it to the person himself. Yeah? So you use someone who's outside, objective, not related, so that we can visualize the picture. So as an example, if my mom wants to tell me that I'm not calling her enough, so she'll tell me, your brother's not calling me enough. So she'll use my brother as the straw man, and hopefully I'll get it, she's talking about me. That's called a straw man. You're using somebody else as an example. Natan uses the straw man approach. He says, David, I want to ask you. We have a guy by us. He has a lot of sheep, a lot of animals. But when his friend came over for Mother's Day barbecue, he instead of making barbecue from his sheep, he took his neighbor's only one sheep. His neighbor's poor, he only owns one. And he took the only one that his neighbor owns. And then he killed the sheep and he made a barbecue. And instead of taking his 1,000 sheep, he took his neighbor's only one sheep. What would you say, David, about such a guy? And David says, Mot yumat, chayav mita, shame on him. Natan says, David, that's you. You had a lot of sheep, and you took this guy's one sheep. That's you. And David right away said, Chatati. Chatati. And what's fascinating is that someone in the shiur, they asked me, one of my students, he said, but Rabbi, maybe if Shaul would have been given the straw man, Maybe if Shaul would have been given a rebuke like this, he also maybe would have admitted. David admitted because he was given this example of a straw man. Why? Maybe Shaul should have been given a straw man. I don't know the answer to the question. It's a good question. We had last week in the synagogue the great rabbi, former Chief Rabbi of Israel, Rav Yisrael Meir Lau. Holocaust survivor, and then became the Chief Rabbi of Israel, big tzaddik, tremendous lover of Israel, loved by everybody, Jews and non-Jews, by the way. And Rav Yisrael Meir Lau was in the synagogue. He prayed Shaharit with us last week on Rosh Chodesh. Came randomly, didn't want anyone to know. He prayed Shaharit and then sat by the breakfast, ate a little breakfast. He spoke for 4 minutes. We recorded him. And then he left. He had a busy day. But anyways, I was sitting right next to him the whole time. So during the breakfast, I asked him this question. I said, maybe Shaul would have admitted. You know what he told me? He said, you're right. Maybe in a way it's Shmuel's fault for rebuking Shaul like that. For not giving him a straw man. For not doing it in a way that was maybe a little bit more sensitive. Maybe if he would have given him the opportunity, Shaul would have admitted. That's what the rabbi said to me. He said, Ulai can. And maybe there's what to learn from here. And it's fascinating. We often learn of the mistake of Shaul and from the mistake of David, but also how the criticism was given is also what to learn from. And criticism is not an easy thing to give. Hashem should bless us to be able to give it properly, to be able to give it the right way, to be able to give it with love, and then Bezat Hashem it will be received with love. Amen. We'll stop over here. Have a Shabbat Shalom, and hopefully we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.